better put your seatbelt on because this could be good. But both players, Murph, know what they're in for here. And they know what they're going to have to do. Try getting those darts apart. It's like they were magnetized to each other.
Well, he's got plenty of practice. That's number 24
57.
in terms of maximums for this afternoon, Devon Petersen.
Well, one thing that will settle you down
80.
is a 180 at the start of a final. I remember the first Players' Championship that I ever won in Coogee Bay, Australia, against Robert Thornton in the final. I started with 180, 180. And after that, I was completely chilled. So maybe that 180 for Devon will just settle any nerves that he possibly has coming from the semis.
Only one player has managed more maxes today. That's Joe Cullen, but I feel certain that Petersen will pass the 25. Tallied up by his semi-final opponent.
There's no way he doesn't hit 3 more 180s in this match. He's not going to get one now. He's not going to leave double 2.
168.
As good as a maximum.
I have seen players run into trouble actually over the course of the week doing things like that.
100.
Devon knew exactly what he wanted to do, knew exactly what he wanted to leave, and he's been doing this for fun over the last 4 days, and he's done it again to take the first leg.
Not only the most prolific 180 shooter in the world right now, and by that I mean the amount that he hits on average per game. But it has to be said, is he the best double 8 hitter now? Because every time he leaves it,
83.
He gets it. I can't remember the last time he was on double 4 after having hit the inside of double 8.
Well, Petersen has produced the goods, not just today, and not just this week, in fact. He's been doing it all year. But just to give you an idea of the kind of stuff he's been producing throughout the course of this afternoon, dominant victories in most of his matches.
58.
The only one that kind of an outlier is the second round win against Joe Mernon, which was 6-5. Before that, he'd beaten Robert Thornton 6-2. Then he whitewashed the world number 1 Michael van Gerwen. Defeated his World Cup teammate Jermaine Watermaner 6-3 and then averaged 110 against Nathan Aspinall before a very convincing 7-2 win against Joe Cullen in the semi-finals.
I've got 2 points to make at this juncture, Murph. One, I think Price is playing a little bit slower. I think he's trying to make sure that Devon's not doing anything at his own pace, which is perfectly legitimate. Second point is, when Devon's in the Grand Prix, I think you should start on double 8.
Interesting thought, interesting thought.
180.
But there's another one of those 180s.
Is he going to be finished on double 8 in this leg?
Game shot.
Price does finish and levels up. Yeah, that semi-final they had in Milton Keynes at the Summer Series was quite remarkable. Price
140.
A huge average from Petersen, 113.5 by the South African, and he ended up losing at 7-6.
Echoes of that Rim van Barneveld, Phil Taylor Premier League match, which defied logic.
Did get a little bit of revenge, didn't he, here at the Autumn Series?
140.
On the opening day when he beat Price in the last 32, averaging 107.
He's averaging 107 right now, so he's obviously comfortable with whatever Price is going to hit him with.
128.
Well, just to go back to your point, if Price is playing at a slightly slower pace, I assume he would have employed the same tactic in that match. Petersen may well be used to it.
Well, if it is a tactic, it's not working. Two 140s and a 180 in this leg.
58.
And I think Price just does the things that he wants to do to make himself feel comfortable. Right now, he has every right to feel a little bit uncomfortable about being 2-1 down, but Petersen has found his mojo, averaging up to 115 now.
Yeah, there's something very, very admirable about the way that
131.
Devon Petersen has responded to those semi-final defeats, particularly the one on the opening day against Madas Razmar, a player that he probably would have been expecting to put away. He would have
85.
thought, this is my best chance. But he just keeps coming back. Refuses to roll over and let that become a theme in his head that he's somehow some kind of needy
45.
man. He's probably one of, if not the most confident darts players out there. Really believes in himself.
Yeah, he's got a great mental strength.
140.
Good positivity around him. But even at this early stage of this climb up the rankings, which is going to happen, it's really important, in my opinion, when you are starting to find form of this magnitude, to write down what you're doing right and never forget it. Because you
80.
can forget what you're doing right at these points in your career. So my advice to Devon would be to write down what you're doing and don't ever forget it. Because if you ever need to reference it through a bad period in your career, you could remember this potentially and recover.
105.
Yeah, we've had the coaching conversation a couple of times during Petersen's matches. He's been taking the advice of Wayne Mardle, and it's had a profound effect.
100.
But I think that's right, Paul. Many players will go to a coach when things are going wrong, but knowing what you were doing when things were right, very handy to have in your back pocket. Now then, Price looking down at 7-7.
72.
Allowing Petersen a chance here to extend his lead.
I think he hits this. 18. Tricky switch. Nice reset though.
78.
Pulls it. And Price has gotten away with that one.
Game shot.
Had the option of splitting that if you chose to do so. 6 for 4 is something that could have been employed. But there's one word that describes Price most of the time on the dartboard. It is aggressive.
131.
Price has just
100.
Ryan Searle, another good performance. In fact, his best performance of the day. A 7-2 win, mirroring the result of Petersen over Cullen. Before that, he'd beaten
44.
Nick Kenny, a semi-finalist yesterday. Martin Schindler, Damon Hetter, of course, a winner here on day 2. A whitewash win against Ryan Murray, and then a tricky victory against a tricky opponent in Mensa Suljevic.
I commentated on that match
91.
between Schindler and Price. And Price was a little bit fortunate. It was 4 legs all and looking like it was going all the way, with Schindler having the throw potentially in leg 11. Schindler fluffed his lines in leg number 9. And then Price
30.
did not look back when he was given a gift.
Yeah, well, let's be honest, the stats don't lie, and Devon Petersen is the best performer of the day. If you want to nitpick, you will see that 2 players have a higher tournament average, but they did only play 1 match. Scott Mitchell and Jeff Smith.
Yeah, that game between Scott Mitchell and Steve Beaton was quite remarkable, wasn't it?
45.
Good response again from Petersen, having missed an opportunity to lead by 2. He is going to wrestle back that lead.
Game shot.
And does so on 16.
Starting to see a pattern with Devon's game as well. When you have days
85.
that you win, you look back on what you hit. And the games that I've seen Devon play today, he's always in the bottom left corner. He's always on 16s and 8s. I honestly can't remember the last time he was on 4.
60.
He's outperforming Price by a long distance, it has to be said,
180.
in this final. And surely he's going to carve out a break opportunity
96.
here.
You would think so. We saw that game with Aspinall in the quarterfinals. How many times did he leave himself under 100 after 9? He's going to do it again.
105.
Sensible switch to the ball. And on this occasion, he shouldn't find himself in the bottom left corner.
60.
Unless he gets to 60, of course, which he probably will. Might have to move. Oh, he's on double four. How ironic.
72.
Well, it could get a bit sticky for Devon here. Price will want to pile it on. That first start made it tricky, but he's done a very good job of navigating a way around that to halve his score. Petersen does not want to halve his here.
Game
Straight
shot.
in. Superb. Break of throw. Petersen in command.
It's a very good performance. It's complete. The doubling has been good. The 180s have been there.
Devon, you're starting.
And everything in between has been very shiny.
He didn't actually know that he'd broken the throw then. The match official Owen Binks had to remind Devon Petersen that he was throwing first.
Well, that's a sign of the zone he's in.
180.
That's a really, really good sign. You want to be almost numb when you're playing in this final. You want
24.
your opponent to do the worrying, and you want to just continue what you're doing. He might not even know what the score is right now. He's just cracking on, doing his thing, hitting 180s for fun. And we overuse that phrase, Murph. He is hitting 180s for fun.
140.
He's hit two of them at the start of this 7th leg. But he can't find a 7th perfect dart. He won't care about that
65.
at this stage, in this match, of all matches. The first PDC final
59.
for Devon Petersen. Looking at 76 to extend his lead to 3 legs over the world number 3.
Can't stop leaving double four now.
72.
Deja vu.
Surely he'll feel good, Paul, going for this double,
96.
having just hit it.
Absolutely. Same process. Different dart. Different double.
No score.
Different result.
Price pile in. I was going to suggest he might pile in a dead cat maximum
104.
to leave double one, but resisted the temptation.
Game shot.
Petersen repeats the process and does repeat the outcome of the previous leg.
Another thing that has changed in the last couple of years is that he doesn't have as many darts falling on the floor.
96.
And I think that has something to do with the balance of his equipment. It's a lot better. The flight is bigger. And just get the feeling that
63.
the change of technique, the change of equipment, the entire product has changed. So to have the courage to start from the ground upwards,
97.
and then maybe 2 years later get to this point on the verge of a title, it doesn't just happen overnight. You've got to give yourself a good long period to get it to the elite level. He's been knocking on the
93.
door, but now he's got to get through it.
98.
Price is flat. And when you've got him flat, this is where you have to strike. You can't allow him any catalyst, any adrenaline.
140.
Just keep pounding him.
They're on course to produce his worst performance
140.
of the afternoon at the worst time. Gerwyn Price. Petersen is going to be breathing down his neck.
105.
Treble 10. Well, that is a change of tact for Gerwyn Price. Ends up on double top
50.
anyway, but what does that say about how he's feeling?
He did that earlier, to my surprise. 2 double tops. Not to be
60.
a little bit cagey. He could have been super aggressive on that, because Price should surely take this out.
Game shot.
Oh, lovely shot. Look how central that was. A little bit of relief, maybe, from the barrage of what Devon has been doing to him the last few legs.
He just wonders where it's been. Price, that reaction says, just on reflection, it might actually be a smart shot from Gerwyn Price, not going for the treble 10, avoiding it in the single and then blocking the double top.
Yeah, I think that is
100.
something he has learned amongst some of the other elite players who are starting to see some of the pitfalls of having that single 20 in the way.
100.
And it most definitely will come into play with Devon's game if he has 60 with 2 darts.
134.
Well, it is becoming a little more level. Petersen fast out of the blocks. Could have broke earlier than he
100.
did before he put himself 4-2 ahead. Extended that lead to 5-2, but Price pulling a
97.
leg back. And now hoping to break, but has to hope Petersen doesn't hit this. He won't, and Price has a chance for the big one.
84.
84 confirmed, and I think he's got to go for the treble 16 here.
97.
I thought that dart was in the way. That one is not in the right bed. But we still have a very, very big moment right here. Double 16 to get within 2.
32.
That is a big moment, Murph, because if Price gets this, we're game on again.
Well, his decision to hit the 140 has left him on a dodgy double. He's edging closer. He gets all 3 darts
15.
at it, but he hasn't found it.
Darts 1, 2, or 3.
Game
Dart
shot.
number 1. No messing around. Look at the facial expressions from here on in. They will tell a story. Look at that. Assurance.
He knows, doesn't
100.
he? He knows.
He knows that he can. I think that's important. Wayne Model said something about my game once, which I've never forgotten.
100.
I once said I was the best double 16 shooter in the world. Wayne said, it doesn't matter whether he is or he isn't, it's whether he thinks he is.
180.
Right now, Petersen thinks he's winning this game.
Well, I think that's sound advice for life, isn't it, Paul? What you think about
91.
yourself is what matters.
Absolutely correct.
Going Price, though, will keep fighting.
97.
To pay homage to his remarkable record this season. Credit to commentary colleague Dan Dawson for digging out the stat that Going Price has reached a final in
140.
every single block of Pro Tour events, bar one, in which he only played one day.
It's amazing accumulation
84.
over the course of a season. Not even finished yet. But Petersen will get within 1 if he hits the ball. Oh,
105.
the wire and the point were connected.
Game shot.
He's not within 1 yet. Price gets the gap to 2. And it's still game on. But that valuable breaker throw still belongs to this man.
A big, like
119.
What I like to see from Devon Petersen in his response to missing that bullseye is that this is potentially the biggest
97.
game of his career. And he's enjoying it, isn't he?
I think you have to. I don't think it's up for debate. I think this is definitely the biggest game of
42.
his career. I mean, he has been involved in some high-profile games, like his World Championship run a couple of years ago.
Yeah, there have been career-saving games that he's had. This could be a
100.
career-making game.
Career foundation. Maybe Devon 2.0, the foundation is here.
That run at the World Championship, Paul, had some repercussions for you, didn't it?
180.
Bad repercussions. But Devon showed in his interview with me in the radio
100.
booth that time that the belief was there in his head, but what he's done since has changed his life. You have to applaud that.
Almost better to see someone who
140.
participated in you losing your tour card as Devon's run and Luke Humphreys and some others I think there did, to
46.
go on and do this rather than waste the opportunity they carved out for themselves.
Completely agree with that. Oh, that's a good out.
Game
That's
shot.
a good in. Well, not just good, but lucky. That was in double 15. And I was talking earlier about darts that don't fall out the board anymore. And when he wants
100.
one to fall out, it falls on the floor.
Well, look at the demeanour now of the two players. It looks like it is going to be Devon's day. He's 1 leg away from picking up a first PDC title.
95.
And of all the runs that he's had on paper, this was the least likely. Beating Michael van Gerwen 6-0,
96.
beating Nathan Aspinall en route, averaging 110 in the process, and then having to take on Gerwin Price in the final.
Sustaining an average of 105 throughout the 11 legs in this final as well.
Even the little distraction of having to play a really good friend in the semi-final as well in Joe Cullen, who was playing excellent darts himself.
Price won't go away. He'll think,
96.
I can win 4 legs in a row against anyone in the world. Doesn't matter how they play. That's what he has to do now.
99.
Cannot write him off, because the hardest leg to win is the last one.
But the next one,
59.
we'll see Petersen throwing for the match, unless Price can't clean this up. Doesn't like that.
Game
But
shot.
he has managed to use it. A step back, reassessed, reset, and pin the double.
I really, really like that checkout. Petersen was on 170 for the title.
97.
Trying to emulate the likes of Lloyd, Aspinall, Hankey.
99.
Now is a chance to serve for the match, Devon Petersen. Nothing in it after the first exchange.
First dart is just so good.
140.
It takes so much pressure off the visit when it hits the top half of that 60 bed. All he's got to do is just hammer it against
100.
it. There it is again, but that one's flattened out.
Yeah,
By
well
it flattening out, it does hit the flight.
Well spotted, well called. He needed a second
140.
treble, he got one. And again, it's just that mental strength that he's developed as well. Didn't let that bother him, didn't let it fluster him.
Well, Price doesn't get the 162 to leave 140, so it's 150 with 6. Possibly with 3. Shouldn't go 60 here. Doesn't.
72.
Don't go anywhere near that 60. Go 12. Make the choice and execute. 16 is a good call. That's fine.
86.
Yeah, just had a bit of thinking time, but he's got a conventional out when he comes back. Devon Petersen will throw darts to win this
104.
final. 64 in front of him. And double 16.
32.
Just evades him.
Championship dart missed. Price to keep it going. Playing spoiler.
Game shot.
Party pooper. 7-6. This ain't over yet.
The tenacious Welshman keeps fighting. A break back. Petersen will get another chance, but it will be a completely different scenario if Price wins this leg and Petersen has to win it in a last leg
59.
decider.
Devon Petersen has not been in this situation before. He's never been in a ranking final.
100.
He's now never been in a ranking final with a missed championship dart until just then.
57.
How does he react to that? It's all about how he reacts to what has gone before in this final. He has to maintain what he's
43.
been doing. If he doesn't, he could get bitten, but only if Price figures out what's gone wrong in the first 6 darts of this leg. Are we going to go to a sudden death leg?
97.
Still well poised this. Petersen had a scrappy visit the last time out, but Price has only found a treble once in his first
100.
darts.
That ton from Devon Petersen was excellent.
140.
But Price is really starting to find key darts here. That belief that we
82.
talked about, he's going to have to find it now. He's in trouble.
58.
It's just tidying up, but there is a chance for Devon Petersen to leave this very handy indeed and pile the pressure on his opponent.
Wow.
136.
Monstrous approach. Now the pressure's on this guy. Can he take the 90? Bullseye to take us to the last leg.
65.
Doesn't just get one, he now gets 3 for the tournament. This is a very different scenario to just having 1.
No score.
3 more match darts missed by Devon Petersen. He is right at the line, but as yet he is unable to cross it.
Game
And
shot.
Gerwyn Price forces him to do it the hardest way possible in a last leg shootout.
How key is it that he won the bullseye? My nerves are shredded.
4 match darts have gone begging. We're just starting to see
44.
some loose darts at the pressure points. Gerwyn Price is regrouping here. He's been here before. He's won 11 PDC titles. He knows exactly how to cross the line. Devon Petersen just hoping to trust the process.
96.
Keep his self-belief, as you said, Paul.
We're also into Gerwyn Price's favourite time of the year. He always wins this time of year.
57.
This is the time of year where he always wins in Risa, when he always wins in Wolves.
57.
Yeah, of course, the carrot of the Grand Slam of darts is another thing that can be dangled in front of Devon. He won't be thinking about that during this match, but it will be an
100.
unintended consequence. But he'll move into the provisional spot if he does win this leg, ahead of Damon Hetta in the Autumn Series Order of Merit.
180.
Oh, what a 180 that is from Price. He hasn't left a finish, but he's given himself a huge gap. And the treble 20s are drying up, and the look is changing.
35.
This is now in the hands of the Welshman.
Well, let's just remind you that Devon Petersen led this game of darts by 7 legs to 4. Then missed 4 darts for the match, 3 of them at double top in 1 leg to put Price away.
Game shot
But it's
and the match.
double 10.